It is almost 11 p.m. on the East Coast. I'm Sam Sachs.
I'm Sam Knight.
This is District Sentinel Radio's live midterm election coverage coming to you from the Sentinel Fort in Washington, D.C. Check out the website districtsentinel.com. If you're not a subscriber, try subscribing on Patreon too, patreon.com/District Sentinel. Got lots of stuff to get to, a lot of X's on the wall.
That's right.
Against the wall to get to. But first, we've got a special guest. You all demanded him in the chat room. Bryan Quinby, one half of the hit anarcho-comedy podcast, Street Fight Radio, at Murder Bryan on Twitter.
It's a hit.
Of course it's a hit.
It's a hit. You're a star. You're a star, baby.
I was looking for this picture to put on for our graphic of you, and you look good in this picture. You got like this flannel. You look like who's the guitarist from that's not Rage Against the Machine, but I guess he was, but
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello?
You look like Tom Morello in this picture.
Handsome.
Yeah.
That's good then. I look like a real revolutionary.
Yeah. How was your voting experience today?
I just walked over and I voted because when the 2016 election happened, and I kept saying Hillary Clinton's going to win, don't worry about it. I had to see my wife and kids' face when Donald Trump won, and I was like, well, I guess I probably should go out and vote this time. And issue one here was a really cool thing that they had that was going to get rid of jail time for drug offenders. And it failed by a lot.
Oh, fuck.
But even still, though, those ballot initiatives, it's a lot easier to show up to just vote for a ballot initiative than it is for a politician. Like, you don't feel like punching yourself in the face after you vote for a ballot initiative the way you do sometimes when you're like, well, I guess I have to vote for the Democrat.
Yeah, Sherrod Brown wasn't my favorite feeling pressing that button.
Well, there were no anarchist ballot for Senate, unfortunately.
Never. They never are on it. I'm going to be on it sometime. I'm going for it someday. I'm telling you.
Did you hear about that ballot initiative down in Florida that has, on the same question, you have to vote yes or no, should offshore drilling be outlawed, and should vaping indoors be outlawed? How would you vote on that?
I did hear about that.
How would you vote on that?
How would I vote? Man. I really like the places where you can vape indoors because you can like get away with weed there. But I don't like offshore drilling. So that is really like what's that movie? Sophie's Choice sort of thing.
Is it really, Bryan? Is that really what it's like?
It is. It's
Have you seen the movie?
It was just tugging at my heartstrings, that one. No, I would have probably voted against that, I would say, I guess. I heard that they passed letting felons vote, though.
Yes, I heard about that, too. That was a big thing.
Can I stop you for a second? Because you mentioned Sophie's Choice, and I've got some related news.
Is it big news?
It's not big news.
So
it's
not
expected.
critical alert.
Not a
news.
critical
Okay.
alert. It's
All
expected. Right. But again, just want to reiterate, you mentioned Sophie's Choice. Steve Scalise has won his re-election. Because Steve Scalise,
he's the guy that got shot.
He's the guy who got shot in the dick, yeah. But he's the KKK guy. He's the guy who's like, I'm David Duke without the baggage. So it was very fortuitous that you brought up Sophie's Choice right when the AP called it for Steve Scalise.
He definitely has less baggage going into his next term in Congress. And by baggage, I mean balls, because they were shot off.
I think people just felt sorry for that guy, right? Like, that's the hope. It's like he got shot, so they're like, I guess we got to give him another shot.
Well, it's Metairie. It's suburban New Orleans. I don't think they're the most anti-KKK. I don't think KKK was really baggage for him down there. Speaking of,
Yeah, I went there last year, and it didn't seem like a very blue part of the country.
No. New Orleans is cool though. I love New Orleans, but another update, also totally expected. Republican Andy Harris wins re-election to U.S. House, Maryland's 1st congressional district. He is very anti-weed.
Wait, Andy Harris won?
Andy Harris won, as expected. Very anti-weed. So I'm gonna. I've got a joint right here. I'm gonna smoke because fuck Andy Harris, and I'm gonna smoke this J real quick.
I
mean, like jail anti-weed, like go to jail anti-weed.
Yeah, he would probably definitely lock up all the potheads.
Well, to be fair, he was very much against D.C. legalizing it, and he try as he may, you can still get it. You can walk into stores in Columbia Heights and buy it like it's fucking like it's a candle or something. Like it's a like it's a scented candle shop.
A lot of flavored sativa vape pen from D.C. the last time I was there.
Yeah, that was a fun show. Damn, Sam, I'd hit that shit, Sam, but you're sick as hell, and I don't want my nose to fall off like yours is about to.
Yeah, sorry. Another update, Tim Walz has won governor of Minnesota as Democrat. He was he's a House member currently, and he left that, and he won. He won. He's governor.
What about his seat? That was one of the seats that could have gone Republican.
Yes, that is one of the few House seats that could go Republican. Let me check on that. Why don't you talk to Bryan while I check on that?
Bryan, what's
I know.
Go ahead.
I know that if there's one thing that people love to vote for in this country, it's walls. So he had a really good chance to get in there.
But
What do you make of this new roster of Democratic candidates we have? We've got former Air Force pilots. We've got military people. We've got a CIA agent about to knock off Dave Bratt in Virginia.
Do we have any valor thieves at all? Like, that's the kind of troops I look for.
We just have to keep digging. I'm sure there's a couple of them. There tends to be valor thieves all the time in Congress.
Hey, maybe in 30 years we'll get a troop who was kicked out for being a commie.
Oh, yeah, Spencer.
Spencer.
Old Spencer.
Or
is that guy with the eye patch? Is he a Democrat by any chance?
No, he's a Republican.
That's why everyone got mad, because he's a Republican.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't even know he was running, but I was just like, I saw a picture of him today. Like, he was on CNN saying, like, I'm just offended by all this comedy or whatever. And I was like, that guy looks badass. I can see how he would win an election, even though he's a Republican.
Yeah, he looks like a villain from the Austin Powers movies or something.
So, is it looking like they're going to flip the House at least?
It is looking like Democrats are going to flip the House right now. They
when we walked into the studio, it was 9. What is
9?
it now?
The magic number is still 9, and there's a lot to go.
They're
looking
9.
good in Iowa. They're looking good. Where, by the way, Steve King might lose. We might have to chug a bottle of champagne tonight.
What's the latest on Steve King here?
Steve King. Let me check on that. But in the meantime, I do have a critical alert.
Wait, we've got a critical alert. Stand by, Bryan. We have a critical alert to get to.
Critical alert. Republican Ted Budd wins re-election to the U.S. House in North Carolina's 13th congressional district. That was one that could have maybe flipped. AP is calling no, it won't flip. And AP is also calling no, it won't flip. And this is relevant to Bryan's home state of Ohio. Troy Balderson is winning re-election to the House, Ohio's 12th district. He actually just won for the first time in a special election a few months ago. And it was thought that maybe he would lose now, which would be pretty funny if you were only a congressman for like 5 months.
Bryan, did you not go out and vote in Ohio's 12th district as well to prevent Mr. Balderson from winning?
I tried to vote in all the districts, but I only got a few of them done. I went to a bunch of them. I don't know what the districts are here, but like I
know your
that,
district.
Like, my district is I don't know, like probably one or two. I'd imagine. I'm downtown Columbus.
Yeah.
I voted.
It's one of those.
I voted for all Democrats. So that was like I went in and I said I'm going to vote for all the Democrats, and then I'm going to vote. See, we had a ballot initiative in my neighborhood that was like, hey, vote. So it was like, this vote is for prohibiting medical marijuana dispensaries from operating in my neighborhood. And I almost voted yes on it, but then I had to read it again, and it was no, because you were voting against prohibiting. I just saw the word marijuana and just was like, yes. Like that.
Huh. Yeah, I think what year was it that we got to vote weed legalization in D.C.?
That was 2014, yeah.
Yeah, that was when I voted straight green down the ticket. All Green Party and for weed.
Did you get yelled at by everybody you know for that? Because the reason I keep saying, the reason I'm like, well, yeah, I voted is just so nobody yells at me for the next 2 years.
You could just lie.
I sort of like to vote Green Party just to troll people like our boy on Twitter. Who's our friend on Twitter in New York?
Which one?
Never mind. I'm not going to start Twitter beef right now.
Yeah, I figured
Mr. Weeks?
No.
Mr. Weeks.
No, it was.
I know that guy.
It was more controversial than that. Sam and I basically know what each other are thinking all the time.
So Sam and I mentioned Mr. Balderson, who was on the list here of Up Against the Wall in our zine. Brian, I hope you filled out the zine Against the Wall. I'm not going to quiz you on it, don't worry. But we had some more additions to it with Carlos Curbelo losing. Get out the big red marker, draw the devil horns. Bruce Poliquin losing in Maine. Pete Sessions losing. This is a race you had been watching.
That's right.
We had Scott Taylor lose.
Colin Allred, the former Tennessee Titans linebacker, Colin Allred, who I don't want to just reduce him to that. He's a lawyer too. He's got all the good professional degrees, but he was also a fucking linebacker, which is pretty cool. And and he beat Sessions.
We had Mike Kaufman lose, Pete Roscom lose, Kevin Yoder lose, Eric Paulson lose.
Excuse me.
So the wall is getting filled out here pretty nicely here. Brian, what's the latest? What are you looking forward to most tonight on election night heading forward here? Is it just going to sleep, or are there any races that you've got your eye on later?
I'm probably going to watch TV later, maybe wrestling, I'm thinking. I just want to see if the House flips. At this point, it's like the thing that I wanted to pass, the only thing I truly cared about didn't pass. So it's kind of like if the House flips, I can go to bed and just be like, oh, well, a new era of ineptness.
Well, Brian,
can exist.
Should we? Yeah, let's hang
Brian,
on, Brian. We've got a critical alert.
We've got extremely good news for you, Brian, in the form of a critical alert.
This alert is critical, according to a screenshot that Kurt just showed me on his phone. CNN has predicted the Democrats will, in fact, take the House. I see Sam Sachs reducing the House flip number to 1.
I forgot that we don't have anything for 0. So
well, it's okay because it's not official yet.
With a thumbs up here.
We'll probably wait for the next. A
lot happens when you're talking to Brian.
It does, but it's looking good. And I will say on the Politico projection, it just ticked up from gain 14 to gain 15. It's looking very much like, as I tweeted a few weeks ago, not even the Democrats could fuck this up.
Yeah, so it looks like Democrats are going to have a lot of gavels in the House next year.
Subpoena power, baby.
Subpoena power. What should they be looking into, Brian?
I don't think they're going to look into anything, but maybe legalizing weed is the only.
I could. I could see Trump agreeing with that.
That'd be the one time they didn't squander power.
I mean,
isn't that the thing to do right now? Is just legalize weed, don't let Trump do it before. Don't let the Republicans do it, and just that will. I mean, that is like it doesn't because like what happens is it doesn't really do anything for most people, but it's like guys like me who get weed all the time anyway will still be happy because I can get weed.
Yeah. I mean,
that seems like the move.
It is the move. There's so much. I think what we had. It comes down to two things. One, it's okay for white people to do it now, and two, people are making a lot of money, especially white people, and so it's happening. Legalized weed is happening. We also see like there was a freak out about hippies. Back in the 60s and 70s, it was also used as an excuse to go after anti-war protesters, all that and shit. But I think Republicans are seeing after a few decades of heavy marijuana abuse that it doesn't make you left-wing. You can be a dumbass reactionary stoner. You can be a fucking Nazi stoner.
Yeah.
And they don't give a shit anymore.
John Boehner just like did an op-ed on like legalizing weed the other day. He was like, it looks like it's going to happen anyway, but he's making like a fuckload of money off of it now. So that orange crime fucker is now profiting. He's putting my weed guy out of business, who is my co-host too. So
Speaking of Nazis, I should mention this. Looking at the Iowa 4th Congressional District, 15% of precincts are reporting, and Steve King is losing still by 2 points.
Steve King is still losing.
2.1 points. Steve King. We might black out tonight, my friend. We're drinking that bottle of Prosecco if Steve King loses. And
unfortunately, a big-time racist has won in Florida. Gillum's conceded.
Oh, Gillum has conceded.
Ron DeSantis has won.
No. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, my
That's
God.
Dark.
The first thing that I went on Twitter, like right after the polls closed here, and there was just a cop like being interviewed and talking about how this DeSantis guy, he's keeping everybody pretty safe. We're really glad that he's elected.
Jesus.
It's just like, because we had the issue one thing was like the cops were basically the cops in the prison places were against it. They were like just spending money like crazy, convincing people that if we made that law, that heroin dealers would move here and turn it into like, I saw somebody on my Facebook say they're going to turn this city into Gotham City. And I was just like, God, do you people do anything but watch cartoons?
They're going to turn this into Sin City.
Yeah.
Remember that movie, everyone?
Yeah. And so they also said that the cops were also like, we had one in my neighborhood that was like issue 31, and they sent me a mailer, and I didn't know how to vote for it. So I get this mailer, and I start reading it, and they were like, this issue 31, you need to vote no on this because it would hurt landlords' rights to do what they want. And I was like, well, I'm voting yes on that one, then.
Brian,
Brian,
can I stop you for a sec? The news is coming hot and heavy right now. We got critical alerts here. First of all, relevant to you, Brian, Republican Mike DeWine wins election for governor in Ohio. AP Politics is calling that. Big news on the Politico.com website. Dems projected to win the House.
There it is.
I mean, I guess it's not that big news.
And,
we expected it.
Yeah, we expected that. And one of the
it's good news. It's good news.
Reasons why is because Dave Bratt has lost.
Dave Bratt has lost in Virginia.
Dave Bratt loses.
And Dems performing well in Iowa. Cindy Axne, I'm probably butchering her last name, Axne. She's beating incumbent David Young by 7.4 percentage points.
Well,
and Rod Blum or whatever his name is, he needs to find his ass another job soon probably because he's down by 15 percentage points to Abby Finkenauer. Get
his ass, Abby.
Get his ass. So it's funny because we just said Gillum not going to win. Probably he's not
Gillum
going to win.
Win.
He's conceded. Going into the night, we thought Gillum was a lock.
Yeah.
But we thought Steve King was the stretch.
Saw a lot of people on Twitter who didn't know what they were talking about, saying that Gillum is lifting up voters for all the other people on the ballot. Maybe he was, but it wasn't enough.
Hey, I said that earlier in the night, and I mean,
yeah,
at least Dems did flip a few Florida seats, but no, he loses. Bill Nelson looks like he's going for an exit. But hey, at least
Republicans picking up seats in the Senate. Bryan,
Steve King losing a big one though, big one.
Bryan, you can go to bed. The House is going to flip. Before we let you go, what's the latest on Street Fight Radio? Any big news coming up that our crossover listeners and viewers should know about?
Well, on November 24th, you can come to Make Black Friday Red in Cleveland, and now that's class. That would be cool if you showed up to that.
Oh, cool.
And, go to Patreon and go to that $5 level. We're doing commentaries over episodes of Undercover Boss every single week.
Yeah, I've been watching that.
And,
it's great.
Yeah, they're fun. It's the most fun thing we do. You guys got to come and do one with us sometime.
That would be fun.
So do that. Yeah, it's fun. It is definitely fun. We got to do something together again. I miss you guys.
Yeah.
We miss you too.
We should do some of that. We could do a combined Street Fight Sentinel where we do like commentary over like a congressional hearing or something, like Mystery Science Theater style.
Maybe we should go back to Tree Bar again pretty soon.
No, we can't. Oh, I talked to Bryan about that. Tree Bar is they've fallen out with Tree Bar, right?
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean
to.
Tree Bar is excommunicated, but Ace
Done.
of Cups is on.
Okay, so that's a different place we can check out.
Tree Bar put us on between two bands.
That's
last
dude.
year, and
we gave them so much business.
I know, and well, even that night we did. The bands were like, as soon as we were done, everybody left, and the bands were playing to an empty room. But it was just—it's like if you've ever performed around bands doing comedy. Not fun. It is just, it sucks. We did a Midwestern tour this year, and we had this big, like, triumphant tour. And then we got back, and we had a show the next week, and we were emceeing between bands, and it was the most miserable experience of my career now.
Even worse than working in cable repair, huh?
Working in cable was easy, though. In cable, at least people had to listen to me. There, it was just people were kind of just talking and ignoring me. So it's like that thing where you're standing on stage and everybody else is doing something else, and you're talking and you're like, what are we even doing? Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But it's good to hear. It's good to talk to you guys again. And Mike DeWine winning means another 6 years without mass transit in Ohio.
Oh.
So, right.
Sorry to hear that.
Great.
Sorry to hear that.
Wonderful
Bryan.
world.
Fuck the wine. Fuck the wine.
Bryan Quinby.
You know, he did get me money one time, so I have to sort of be nice to him, but.
Well,
like willingly.
Well, I got ripped off by my wife actually got ripped off by one of those magazine people. They're geniuses. It's my favorite thing. They go around with a book of receipts. And they're like, you got to subscribe to this magazine, and all you got to do is give me $50, and I'll have it sent to your house. And then they just write the receipt and hand it to you. You hand them the money, and boom, they got your $50 because they're just selling receipts. And I sent a thing to Mike DeWine, and he sent me $50. He sent me the $50 back. So
he's the former attorney general, right, of Ohio?
Yes.
That's why. He's not just some random dude who
yeah, he hates weed too. I believe. I'm pretty sure he hates weed too. But thanks for having me on, guys. I was really bumming because I was like, why am I not on?
You're on now. You're on.
You're on anytime you want to be on. Bryan Quinby,
got you, baby.
At Murder Bryan on Twitter. Check out the podcast Street Fight Radio. They're on Patreon. Tap into your monthly tendy budget and eat 2 less tendies a month and give your money to the Street Fight Boys on Patreon as well.
Watch us make fun of these dipshit CEOs.
Yeah.
Yes. We've really enjoyed your latest Jeff Bezos chants at your shows, but we won't repeat them on air.
Yeah, those were great. That was like that Chicago show was like a fucking rock concert. It was crazy out there.
That was good stuff. All right.
We'll be out. We're coming down towards you guys soon. We'll
yeah.
do something.
All right.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let us know. All right, see you, man.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
All right. We off with Bryan?
We're off with Bryan.
Can I get a critical alert?
You can always get a critical alert.
Some of you probably already know this by now, but the Kansas gubernatorial election has been lost by Chris Kobach.
Chris Kobach
has lost in Kansas. Laura Kelly, the Democrat projected winner by Politico. She's up 49.1 to 42.2. That is almost 7 whole percentage points.
He couldn't suppress enough votes.
80.4% percent of the precincts are reporting. That's, I mean, I don't know. Kobach is one of those ones where you're going into it and you're thinking, okay, he's too right-wing even for Kansas, but how many times have we said that and been proven wrong?
Yeah.
Especially tonight with DeSantis in Florida. But it's a mysterious. The world works in mysterious ways.
What's the deal with Claire McCaskill?
I'm almost positive she is lost.
Has this been confirmed yet? Has Claire McCaskill lost yet?
The Republicans have won the Senate for sure.
Looks like they're on their way to picking up seats in the Senate.
Yeah.
Assuming Bill Nelson's going to lose.
McCaskill, she is... I don't think it's not looking good for her. She is down
maybe we'll
by
have
9.9 points with 64.2, and now she is down by 10.1 points. So it's getting worse for her.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take our last break of the night.
By the way, have we mentioned that Beto O'Rourke officially lost?
I don't think we mentioned
Beto
that,
O'Rourke
but yes,
maybe
lost.
I think we should actually. But before we're about to take a break, but there were some things.
All right,
before we talked to Bryan, we wanted to talk about some things. Jason Crow won in Colorado. He's a Democrat in the 6th district. We mentioned Pete Sessions lost. Roscom lost in Illinois. Eric Paulson lost in Minnesota. Woodall was losing in Georgia the last time I checked. That would be a pickup for Democrats in the state of Georgia. Possibly hope, I guess, for Stacey Abrams, where the last time I checked, we were still waiting for a lot of the Atlanta area to come in. Mm-hmm. They haven't called this for a reason. She was down a lot, though. She was down a lot, but again, they haven't called it for a reason. Looking very good for Democrats in Iowa, and Greg Gianforte might be body slamming himself in Montana.
Oh, wow. Add that to the Steve King watch. We're on Gianforte watch into our final hour here. So here's what we're going to do. As I was saying, we're going to take a break, a shorter break than before. We're going to recharge the batteries. We're going to come back with some guests for our final block. That's going to take us. Yep, 2 guests. It's going to take us to the midnight hour. Where
Don
we have Don Young, coming up. I don't know if we'll get any results on that race before we end it, but
who knows? Maybe me, Nate, and our other guests will go, and you can go to bed. We'll just be going till 4 a.m.
The thing is, you don't know how to work all this software, so good luck with that.
You got me.
All right, don't go anywhere. Refill your drinks, have a snack, hit the bong. We'll be back in a few. District Sentinel boys live streaming 2018 midterms. We're in DC, so that you don't have to be.